So guys, welcome back to another video on my style baits. Today we are going over my winter steelhead arsenal for this coming season. So let's get into it. I can't wait to show you guys what I bring, and I'm excited for the new season. It's gonna be great. So guys, stay tuned because I'm gonna be showing you guys setups for steelhead, so the bobber setups and a bobber dogging setup. I'm gonna take you guys through what's in my backpack for every day I go out steelhead fishing, and obviously sometimes I just have to put more in there, but this is what I got. So this is the main compartment of my bag. I keep all my stuff in here. So this big old blue tackle box has a bunch of beads, hooks, lures, weights, spinners. We'll get into this a little later. We'll take that out for now. And then the other side, I have more beads, worms, and more jigs, and some weights. So that's that. And look at this. A nice, good old bead box from My Style Baits. Gotta love it. That's my beads. Those are the ones I'm using this year. I will probably stack up some more soon. More jigs, guys. I'm on certain rivers that we fish, I use a lot of jigs, and that's with all these guys as well. These are a lot of nightmare jigs, really good for clear water. We use them a lot. More jigs, more jigs. We also got scent in here. I'm not going to take that out, but it's a lot of Procure scent. We also got 10-pound test in here, which I normally only use 12 and up. If it's super clear, I might go down to 10, but that's rarely. So everything else in here is basically, I have Ziploc bags in here in the top compartment right here. I have Ziploc bags for eggs and stuff like that. I also have yarnies, but we don't use that much, or yarn. And here I have a lot of bobbers. As you can see, I have a lot of little tiny bobbers in here for steelhead fishing. And then here I have the rest of my line. So this is my 12-pound test that I will normally be using. I went to my local tackle store. I was lacking on a few things in my bag, so let me go through that with you guys. So first, I got a bunch of bobbers, and these are bobber dogging bobbers. They're not just regular bobbers. We'll get that later in the video. I'll set up a setup just like that for that. And then we got some hooks as well, because I was lacking on hooks. I want to make sure that I'm ready for this season. So these are size 2s and size 4s. I'll probably be using 2s a lot. So that's that. Then I got some bobber stops. These are really useful. I got bobber stops. That goes on our bobbers. And then I got some weights for our bobbers as well. These are three-quarter, I think, 3/4 ounce weights. Yeah, they stay on the top right, or top left actually. And then those are gonna be for these bobbers. And then what we got in here is we got some 3-way swivels. I'll be using a lot of those as well. And then we got some more weights. These are for just regular bobbers. I wanted to try this out, so there's that. Then we don't have any eggs right now, but when we do get eggs, I use some spawn sacks, and I might show that in a different video for you guys, but we do use spawn sacks out here. And then last thing is, in this little bag we got a bunch of corkies just for your bobbers. They're basically indicators, and then to show you that if your bobber's messed up, then these will show you, and I'll show you later. And that's it, guys. That's all. Guys, the first setup that we're going to go into is a bobber and jig setup. But first, I'm going to get into the rod and reel. So this rod is a 9.9 Guide Select Pro. It's rated 6 to 12. So this is a Sedona C3000. Alright guys, now this is what we're going to need for the setup. So we got 3 bobber stops, we got 2 small beads, 1 big bead, 1 corky, and then I have my 3/4 bobber, and then the weight for it, and then I also have the jig that we're going to be using. So guys, first what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 bobber stops on your line. These are already pre-tied bobber stops, so they're pretty easy. You just slide them on. So you just pull it off the tube. When it's done, pull it tight. Make sure they're cinched down pretty tight. Slide it up the line a little bit. And then do the other one. There's the other one. Cinch that one down tight as well. Actually, we are going to cut those little tiny things off. These little strings, because they're extra. We don't need it. Like that. And same thing to the other side. Like that. Like so. And then that's just trash. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to throw the little tiny bead on, so that your bobber does not go over your bobber stops. So thread that through real quick like that. And then your indicator, in this case it's a little corky, a little watermelon corky. And then your bobber. Now you got your bigger bead. And your small bead. And then this is a big thing right here. Another bobber stop. Now, the reason why you have this bobber stop is if this whole entire setup breaks off with the swivel and the weight and stuff, you'll still have your bobber. So you won't lose like $6 on a bobber. So this is really nice. We actually, like a week ago, we had that happen to us, but we had our bobber stop on there, and we were able to save our bobber. So this is huge when it comes to bobber fishing. Now what you're gonna do is you are gonna tie your main line to your swivel. I'm gonna do a uni knot. So this is a uni knot. Just like that, and then you're gonna wrap this main line, this tag line, around probably like 6 or 7 times. And then you're gonna cinch it down, and then you're gonna cinch it all the way down. And that is a uni knot. Really important. We'll be using a 12-pound test. So now I'm actually gonna do the weight last. I'm gonna do the leader first. 4 feet, 5 feet, maybe even less. I just give it a good estimate, and then you can always cut it down if you need to. Now what I'm gonna do is tie a fisherman's knot on this guy. Do that little hole right there. Just a regular old fisherman's knot. Cinch it down. And then cut off your tag line. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other side of this swivel. I'm actually going to cut this thing down a little bit. Probably about 6 inches. Cut that off. Now I'm going to tie it to the swivel. Same thing, fisherman's knot. Wrap it around like, I don't know, I say 7 times. Run it back through. the little tiny hole if you can, and then back through the bigger hole. And that is that. Then I put on my weight. Like so. And now you're ready to fish. So that's the setup right here with our jig. And then the whole entire setup right there. So guys, this is what you're gonna need for this bobber dogging setup. So these are for the leaders, but we'll use these later. But two small beads. I'm actually not sure what they're called. What are they called? Seed beads. We use those, and then sequins. You can get at any art store. And then we got bobber stops, small bead, corky, bigger bead, the bobber itself, the weight, the swivel, the hooks, and then our leader line, and then scissors as well. And then we also got our bead selection. Depending on what you guys are going to be fishing, if you're fishing higher water, you're going to need a bigger presentation, which is these 20s. They're bigger. And then if you're fishing lower water, you're going to be fishing like something like this. These are 12s, small beads. So let's get into this. We already got one bobber stop on there, so let's go put on the other one. What you're gonna need is your little tiny small bead right here, like so. Then what you're gonna need is your corky, then your bobber, and then your bigger bead. Whoop. That through, then the smaller bead again. And then we're gonna throw on a bobber stop. Cinch it down. And what we're gonna do is attach the swivel to the main line. I'm gonna do a uni knot for this. Down and cinch it all the way down. Now we're gonna go and cut these little guys off, the bobber stops. First leader is probably gonna be within, I don't know, 3.5 to 4 feet, around there. And then, so this knot that I'm tying right here is called a egg loop knot. You go through the eye, get a little bit of tag end out there. Then you're gonna wrap it about 6 to 7 times. Then you're gonna go through that eye again, like that. And then you're gonna wrap that again. I would wrap it like 4 or 5 times. And you're gonna cinch it down. Cut off the tag end. Now, what we're gonna use is these little tiny beads. We're gonna put one of these guys on real quick. And this is basically, we're using this instead of using a T-stop or a glass bead or whatever. We're using just a little tiny bead right here, and then we're gonna use those sequins as well. So I like to go about an inch or so off the eye over here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to thread this side of the line back through that hole over here, like so. And then I'm just gonna pull this all the way until I get a smaller hole, smaller loop actually, like so, keeping that bead right there. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna wrap it about, I don't know, 5 to 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm gonna slowly pull on it, and then I'm gonna wet it. And now what I want this bead right in the middle of this line, of this little knot right here. So I'm gonna try to keep that in there, in the middle of it, like so. And now that will put 3 finger lengths off of the actual hook, which is perfect. Now, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna thread these sequins on as well, like so. And now my favorite part, we're gonna choose the bead. Now, I know that the water is rising in my areas, so what I'm gonna use is a Cerise 20 mil. Like so. Awesome. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie this onto the swivel, and we're just gonna use a basic fisherman's knot on this one. And then that's that one. Cut off that tag in right there. So that's one setup. Now we're gonna do a double bead setup. So we're gonna do another one. So the exact same thing that I just did, we're gonna do that again. So about 4 to 3 feet in length. I like to run this one a little bit shorter. You're gonna grab your hook. Same knot, egg loop knot, same knot. And then you're gonna cinch it all the way down. Now we're gonna put that small black bead on there. Grab the other side of that line and go back through it. And then make that little loop down there like that, keeping your bead at that 1 inch area. And then we're gonna wrap it 4 or 5 times, like so. It's about 3 fingers, 2.5, 3. And you're gonna put those sequins on, like that. Now, we are gonna go pick a bead. And I'm gonna go a 16. We're gonna go orange 16. This is covered in white. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna tie that to the shank of this hook. So I'm gonna do a regular fisherman's knot on this, if I can get it over. So a regular fisherman's knot, back to the big loop, and now cinch that down. Perfect. And that is a double bead setup for bobber dogging. Obviously I gotta put on the weight, but ready to catch fish. So guys, that is the end of this video. If you guys have any questions, I will be in the comments, Sarah will be in the comments. So if you guys have any questions about the knots we've been using or anything about the setup, then go ahead and let us know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one. And good luck out there on fishing for winter steelhead. And like and subscribe.